You have been twice Danish champion. You have been competing for the last 10 years.
It's the first 100 digits. No 10,000 of the first pi digits. Learning things and memorizing things made a huge impact on myself. The most important thing that I changed as a person because...
Hello everybody, I'm Amrut Jadhav and I have with me Lars Christiansen from Denmark. I must say, before I speak about you on the memory front, I must say this to all of you, that he is one of the most beautiful soul that I have met.
Thank you. Thank you.
He has a grand heart, and of course he is grand himself. So, and he is a wonderful human being to be with, and we have here Lars with us, and I want to steal this opportunity to understand from you that how memory sports has helped you, because I understand that you have been competing for the last 10 years. You have been twice the Danish champion, and it's been more than 45 competitions that you have performed into. So how has been your experience and what are your learnings from this memory sports?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, when I started, it made a huge impact on my self-confidence, because before I went to the sport, I didn't even know what's possible. So it was a little bit coincidentally how I came to the sport. I saw something on national TV, some people who managed to really to memorize a lot of different digits, and I was thinking, how is this possible? And then I read books about it and I tried, and my self-confidence about these kind of stuff, like learning things and memorizing things, made a huge impact on myself. And of course I can use it when I do speeches. For example, I'm a keynote speaker sometimes where I teach people, also like you probably, to how to memorize, and there I use these techniques and names and faces and everything. So there are so many good reasons why people should do that. But for me, the most important thing was that I changed as a person, because I could see that I actually am able to do something special with the memory, and that just feels very good, right? So it's just a pleasure for me always to be in these competitions. Like in Mumbai last year, it was very nice.
So Lars, which is your favorite discipline and why?
I would say I like spoken numbers the most. For me, it's exciting. Of course, it's always like, okay, when you're out, so you cannot repeat it. But it's just so different from other disciplines, because it's the only one what's auditive. And I like this kind of stuff. And when I train, I can see, okay, I can actually do a lot of numbers, and this is actually one of my favorites. I also like speed cards and so on, but numbers I'm better in than cards. I have disciplines what I'm actually not so crazy about, like names and faces. That's not my favorite.
Okay.
But it's always a question of training, right? So as more you train, and my discipline was higher in the numbers. But so spoken numbers would be my favorite, definitely.
Wonderful. And I think that's the reason perhaps you are the pie guy.
The pie, yeah.
And I saw something on your hand.
Yeah, it's right. I made a tattoo here. It's the first 100 digits.
Wonderful.
I know 10,000 of the first pi digits. Which I have to know for this kind of discipline, where I jump around in the first 10,000 digits. So it's not that you start in the first one and then until the last one. It's more like finding sequences of 5 digits. And
randomly.
Somebody is saying one of these digits, and then you have to mention the one before and the one after 50 times in a row on time. So it's actually quite difficult, because it's a little bit untraditional. You have to jump front and back, and not just from the beginning, right? It's different, and it's actually quite fun. So they call it matrix.
Matrix, yeah. But you have memorized 10,000 digits of pi.
Yes.
Wonderful. And like how has been this competition? Like both of us are competing together, and so for those who do not know, that we are here in Sweden and the World Memory Championship, and Lars and I both are competing. And what was your experience here while competing at this championship?
First of all, it was very different to India last year, right? So last year we were, 800 or something?
Almost.
Like this, and here we were nearly 40, so it's very different. it's smaller, and well, my experience, I mean, my own performance was actually a lot better than in India. In India I had 2,800 points. Now before the second one I'm around 3,100 points. So it's a good success for me when we talk about my performance.
Yeah.
And I like Sweden. You know, I'm just 1 hour from here. I'm living in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, and it's easy to come here.
Yeah.
It was, of course, a lot more complicated to come to Mumbai. So it's just a very different feeling for me, because Friday or Thursday afternoon I was just sitting in the train and come to Lund, and now I go home in the evening. In Mumbai it was different, but you know, for me, Mumbai last year will always be in my memory because it was so different for me. I have never been in India before, and I met so many nice people, and it's just very different feeling. I like this one, but I certainly like the Mumbai competition as well.
That's very kind of you, sweet of you to say so. And what would be your quick tips to improve? So there is somebody who is not into the memory sports. What are the 3 things that you would say that would quickly help somebody to improve their memory?
First of all, if we're talking about technique, in my point of view, it's very important to visualize stuff. If you want to memorize something, you have to visualize, see them as an image, not as a number or something, but more like, what does it mean to me? So you have to generate a visual thing, because our brain is working like you have to see in images. We are not very good in abstract information as human beings. That is very important, and you can do this quite fast. It means you have to train a little bit, but even if you have a shopping list where you have to shop things, see it not as a word, but more like an image.
Yeah.
That is making a huge impact. The other thing I would say, if you are training for a competition and you feel it's not working as much as you think, then just keep going, because you will not be the world memory champion like this. It will take hard work, and sometimes you are probably, it's not very working very well, but then keep going, and it will come, definitely.
Yeah.
That is my 2 tips, I would say.
Wonderful. Like, how did you do this, the pie thing? What inspired you to do that? And what are the techniques that you're actually using while memorizing a humongous amount of information?
When I started with the pie, I already made these kind of competitions, and I had a 2-digit system. That means I had for each image I used 2 digits, and then I was considering how can I train 3 digits, because I wanted to memorize them as in blocks of 3. Yeah. And then I was thinking, okay, pi could be a nice way to train it, because I started with the first digits, and then I was thinking, okay, 141, what does it mean to me? And then I wrote it down, and then I kept going. Yep. So, and that was actually a way of training the new system, first of all, and then suddenly I had 2,000 digits. So, and it's actually going faster than you think. You can do that in a relatively short time, I would say. For me, it was a way to get the system in my brain and to train it. Pi is fascinating, but I also have to say pi is in a way also easier, because it's always the same digits. Yeah. When you do this in these competitions, you never know what kind of digits. Yeah. So here you can repeat, right? Yeah. It's more like the long-term memory, and here it's always the short-term memory. It's a little bit different way. Yeah. But pi is fascinating. I know in India you like pi very much. Yeah. These 2 world record holders, like how many digits? They are both Indians. Yeah. So pretty good. Yeah.
Like how do you what do you have to say about the applications of what we are doing here in the field of memory sports? How can a student get benefited out of it? Especially what happens is in schools, especially if I talk about India, we are all expected to study, we are all expected to learn, but we are all expected to memorize especially. But unfortunately we are never trained for that.
That's right. Yeah.
Like here we are memorizing humongous information. You memorize pi, which is like 10,000 digits, and that's huge. In a very similar manner in academics, a child has or a student has to memorize a lot of information. So what would be your recommendations as far as applying the techniques in academics?
So when we are going to these competitions, we all learn the techniques and we try to get faster and so on. When I do these speeches, the keynote, and I teach people to memorize, they say, but why should I memorize so many cards, for example? But my point of view is the technique is always the same. If you are in the school and you have to learn like some chemical stuff or mathematics or something, you even can use it there, because you will memorize them. If you want to memorize them very effective, then it will be the same as here. So the techniques are the same, and I can just say everybody should try it out and visualize. It's quite easy to start, and you can use it for everything. I'm not deciding what people want to use it for.
Yeah.
You can use it for a shopping list, or you can use it for historical things or something, but also for the school. And it's so beneficial in many ways, and you can use it nearly for everything.
True. So you feel that because I feel so that you should have in schools, at least you should have memory as a subject along with the other subject, so that learning becomes easy for the child. You feel so?
Yeah, I feel so too, and we have the same problem here in Denmark, in my country, Denmark. It's probably the same here in Sweden also. It's like the system doesn't support the memory techniques, the memory sport, or the whole memory thing as it should be.
Yeah.
So students are always a little bit alone with their problem to learn new stuff.
True.
I mean, you can of course read a book if you want, then buy a book and do it, but it's not organized enough. This is something what's written. It can be a little bit depressing sometimes.
True.
So yeah,
True.
and it's the same in India. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Lars. It was
Thank you.
Wonderful
Thank
speaking
you.
to you.
It was a pleasure.
So thank you so much, everybody, and you can keep following Lars. He's from Denmark. He's a keynote speaker. So wherever you are from, and if you want some amazing lectures, sessions, you can surely reach out to Lars or me, and I'll give his contact to all of you, so that in case you want to invite him for any corporate events, whether in India, whether I'm sure you're open to travel.
And now I was in India, and it was a great pleasure. So I would always come back to India, always.
Or you're from any other part of this world and you want an amazing speaker like him, I'm sure you can get in touch with us, and he'll be there to teach you, to guide you, to mentor you. So thank you so much, Lars, once again.
Thank you
it was a
very
pleasure
much.
speaking to you.
Thank you.
So much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.